There are people who walk this earth with an aura you can't explain. People who move differently, think differently, and carry a silent authority that can't be imitated. They're not loud, not flashy, not desperate for validation. Yet when they enter a room, everything shifts. That's the presence of a chosen one. They've been through too much to be ordinary, endured too much pain to still play small. Life has tested them, refined them, and built in them something divine, something unbreakable. If you're reading this message, you were meant to. The universe, God, or destiny itself guided you here. Because this message will awaken something deep within you. A remembrance of who you are and what you carry. And before we dive deep into these 9 deadly traits that make a chosen one truly unbeatable, I ask you to do this. Subscribe to this channel for more divine insight. And if you feel this message has reached you at the exact time you needed it, type 11 to 11 in the comment section below for divine blessings and spiritual alignment. Let the universe know you are ready for your next elevation. 1. Their pain turned into power. A chosen one has been through storms that would have shattered the average soul into pieces. They've walked through valleys of betrayal, nights of loneliness, and seasons where the world seemed to turn its back on them. But instead of collapsing under the weight, they allowed that pressure to forge them into something divine. Every heartbreak became a lesson, every disappointment a weapon, every tear a seed that watered their spiritual awakening. While others saw tragedy, the chosen one saw training. They discovered that pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. Their wounds didn't make them bitter, they made them wise. Pain taught them patience, endurance, and self-mastery. It taught them that strength isn't about never falling, but about rising every time they do. And now, when life tries to break them again, they don't panic. They smile because they've danced with pain before and came out stronger. They understand that pain is God's hidden classroom, where power is born in silence and pressure. The chosen one knows that gold is tested by fire, and they are the gold. You can't destroy someone who has learned how to convert suffering into sacred energy. They no longer fear pain. They welcome it, knowing it's a sign of transformation. To defeat them, you'd have to destroy their purpose. And purpose cannot be killed. Their pain didn't make them fragile. It made them unstoppable. 2. They operate in silence. The chosen one has learned that real power doesn't need an audience. They move quietly, intentionally, and without the need for validation. They've come to understand that energy is sacred and that not everyone deserves access to their plans. While others seek approval, they seek alignment. They've realized that the loudest people often have the weakest foundations, but those who move in silence build empires that shake the world. Their stillness is not passivity, it's wisdom. They know that speaking too soon can invite sabotage, so they let results do the talking. Their silence confuses enemies because it gives them nothing to attack. You can't stop what you can't see coming. When the chosen one is silent, they're not idle. They're listening, observing, strategizing, and manifesting. They understand that divine timing often requires discretion, that sacred things lose their power when exposed prematurely. Their quietness isn't emptiness, it's protection. By the time the world notices their success, it's too late to interfere, because what's built in silence is guarded by heaven. The chosen one has no need to announce, because they walk in assurance. And those who mistake their silence for weakness soon learn that silence is their strongest weapon. It hides divine movements that cannot be interrupted. The chosen one doesn't need attention, they already have divine recognition. 3. Their spirit intimidates darkness. There's something otherworldly about the presence of a chosen one. They don't need to raise their voice or proclaim their power. Their energy speaks volumes. Their spirit carries light that exposes deceit, jealousy, and malice the moment they enter a room. Darkness can't pretend in front of light, and that's why wicked people feel uneasy around them. The chosen one's aura is pure frequency, too high for low energies to endure. It's not arrogance, It's divine radiation. They've been purified by trials, their souls polished by pain, and now their very essence carries divine authority. Demons recognize them without introduction because their spirit has rank in the unseen realm. People with hidden motives suddenly feel nervous in their presence, because truth is magnetic. It draws out what's real and repels what's false. When you walk with divine energy, your vibration announces itself before you even speak. That's why some people gossip about the chosen without reason. Their spirits are simply reacting to light that reveals their own shadows. The chosen one doesn't need to argue or defend themselves. Their purity speaks louder than words. Their light unsettles darkness, not because they try, but because that's what light does. It exposes. And once darkness is exposed, it loses its power. The chosen one walks among wickedness unharmed, because what is divine cannot be defeated by what is doomed. Their spirit is a warning and a weapon. It makes darkness tremble before them, for they have unshakable faith. Faith is the heartbeat of the chosen one. They don't walk by what they see. They walk by what they know. Even in their darkest nights, when nothing makes sense, they still trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. They've been through situations that should have destroyed their belief, yet they came out stronger, because they realized that faith isn't built in comfort, it's built in chaos. When others panic, they remain calm, because they've seen God come through too many times to doubt Him now. Their faith has matured from hope into certainty. They don't just believe in miracles, they've lived them. They've seen doors open that no man could shut, favor appear out of nowhere, and strength rise from exhaustion. That's why fear no longer controls them. They understand that when you walk with heaven's backing, nothing on earth can truly defeat you. Their unshakable faith gives them peace in the storm and power in the face of adversity. Even when life delays their desires, they trust divine timing. They know that God's silence isn't absence, it's strategy. Every battle, every setback, every unanswered prayer has a purpose. And because of that, they don't crumble under pressure. They praise through it. You can't destroy someone whose confidence is rooted in eternity. Their faith makes them invincible because their source is infinite. 5. They see beyond the physical. The chosen one doesn't live trapped in the surface world of appearances, they see beyond it. Their perception isn't confined to sight, it's guided by spirit. They sense energy, read intentions, and discern truth even when it's hidden behind a smile. You can't deceive someone who sees beyond masks. Their intuition is their compass, and it rarely fails. They've learned that the physical world is only a shadow of the spiritual one, and true understanding requires spiritual eyes. When others are distracted by what looks appealing, the chosen one listens for what feels authentic. They pick up on vibrations others ignore, the tone behind the words, the energy behind the presence, the spirit behind the action. Their discernment is sharp because it's been refined through betrayal and experience. Once they've been lied to enough, their spirit learns the sound of deception. That's why they move differently. They don't chase opportunities, they sense which ones are divine. They trust divine nudges more than human advice. While most people rely on logic, the chosen one relies on revelation. Their spiritual sight allows them to avoid traps, detect danger, and recognize divine connections instantly. This gift is not arrogance, it's protection. It's why many can't manipulate or control them, their spirit simply knows. The chosen one walks in unseen wisdom, guided not by what is, but by what's coming. They see through illusions, that's what makes them untouchable. 6. They master emotional control. A chosen one has learned one of the rarest and most powerful disciplines on earth, emotional mastery. They no longer allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. Through heartbreak, rejection, and betrayal, they've learned that emotional reactions are the devil's playground, and self-control is heaven's defense. They understand that not every battle deserves a response, and not every insult deserves attention. Their energy is sacred, and they protect it like treasure. When others would explode in anger, the chosen one remains calm, because they know that losing control is giving the enemy access. They've trained themselves to observe before reacting, to respond with strategy instead of emotion. Their peace is their power. They've learned that silence in the face of chaos is not weakness. It's wisdom. People who operate from emotion are easy to manipulate. The chosen one knows this, which is why they stay centered. They feel deeply, but they don't let feelings dictate their direction. Their calmness under pressure is intimidating. It reveals spiritual maturity. When provoked, they don't fight with fists or words. They fight with patience, discernment, and prayer. They know how to turn emotional energy into creative force, pain into purpose, and anger into action. They don't get even, they get elevated. The chosen one's composure is their armor. It shields them from spiritual traps and keeps them focused on destiny. That's why enemies can't stand them. You can't defeat someone who refuses to react. They fight their battles differently, because they know emotional discipline is the ultimate form of strength. 7. They move with divine timing. Chosen ones don't rush. They flow. They understand that divine timing governs their entire life, and that haste is the enemy of destiny. While the world hustles in anxiety and fear of missing out, the chosen one walks in assurance, knowing that nothing meant for them will ever pass them by. They've learned to trust the pauses, the delays, and the detours, because they recognize that God's wait is never a denial, it's preparation. Every season of stillness has a purpose. When doors don't open, they don't panic, they pray. When people leave, they don't chase, they release. They've been trained to move when heaven says move, not when ego demands action. That's why their breakthroughs seem sudden to others, but are actually the result of divine orchestration. They know that rushing ahead of God invites chaos, while patience brings perfection. Their timing is not ordinary, it's prophetic. They understand that every battle, blessing, and connection aligns with divine rhythm. Even setbacks are synchronized to push them toward purpose, and when the time is right, their momentum becomes unstoppable, because destiny itself clears the path. People may mock their stillness, not realizing that stillness is power. The chosen one doesn't compete or compare, because they know their timeline is sacred. They're not late, they're being launched. Every divine delay refines their strength and sharpens their faith. When they finally move, it's with divine force, precision, and authority, and nothing can stand in their way. That's the mystery of divine timing. When the chosen move, creation moves with them. 8. They can walk alone. The chosen one has made peace with solitude. While others crave company to feel validated, they've learned that loneliness is not their enemy, it's their sanctuary. Their isolation wasn't accidental, it was divinely orchestrated. God pulled them away from crowds to purify their mind and strengthen their spirit. They've spent countless nights in silence, learning to hear divine whispers that can't be heard in noise. In solitude, they discovered their true power, the kind that doesn't depend on anyone's approval or support. They realized that separation was preparation. The friends who left, the relationships that ended, the doors that closed, all of it was part of their refinement. Solitude stripped them of distractions and made them self-sufficient in spirit. They no longer fear walking alone because they know they're never truly alone. Heaven walks beside them. That's what makes them dangerous to the enemy. They can't be manipulated by loneliness. While others compromise to belong, the chosen one stays loyal to purpose. Their independence terrifies those who depend on the crowd for identity. The chosen one doesn't chase belonging because they are the belonging. Wherever they go, divine presence follows. Their path is narrow, sacred, and often misunderstood, but it's also the path of power. Walking alone gave them clarity, strength, and an unbreakable bond with God. They don't seek the spotlight, they carry the light within. That's why when they re-emerge from isolation, they move with authority, purified, focused, and unstoppable. Their solitude was not abandonment, it was elevation. 9. They are surrounded by divine protection. The chosen one is not just strong, they are guarded. They walk with unseen armies beside them, guided by forces that watch day and night. Many have tried to harm them, mock them, or block them, but somehow every trap fails. That's not luck, that's divine defense. When people plot against them, those plans backfire because you can't curse what God has blessed. The chosen one has spiritual insurance. Their soul is covered by heaven. Angels encamp around them. Ancestors intercede for them, and divine energy shields them from unseen harm. Sometimes they survive accidents, illnesses, or betrayals that should have destroyed them. Yet they rise again without explanation. It's because they're chosen, and chosen doesn't mean favored without reason, it means protected for a mission. The chosen one carries a divine assignment, and heaven defends what heaven designs. That's why jealousy surrounds them. Others can't understand why they're always preserved, even in chaos. But what people call luck, the chosen one calls grace. Their life is a testimony that no weapon formed against them shall prosper. Attacking them is not just a mistake, it's a spiritual offense. Because when you touch a chosen one, you provoke divine justice. Their protection isn't visible, but it's undeniable. It manifests in sudden escapes, unexpected favor, and miraculous timing. The chosen one knows they're covered, and that awareness gives them fearless peace. They walk boldly through danger because they understand they are not walking alone. Every step they take is guarded by divine order. To harm them is to fight the very power that created them, and no one wins that battle. A chosen one's strength isn't loud. It's silent, divine, and deeply rooted. They may look ordinary, but behind that calm smile is a soul forged in fire, trained by pain and guided by purpose. So, when you meet one, don't underestimate them. Be respectful, be cautious, and above all, be aware. Because the energy of a chosen one doesn't just change rooms, it changes destinies. This is the Chosen Seer channel. If this message resonated with your spirit, don't forget to subscribe for more divine revelations, and if you truly believe this message found you at the perfect time, type 11 in the comments below. Claim your blessings. Your next level is closer than you think. Thank you for watching.